So we're going to talk about when we have a function that's not one-to-one. So we have the quadratic function, that's kind of one we're used to, and it makes a parabola, something like that. Okay, and there's my little parabola, and it's not one-to-one. So we say, oh, well, we can't find the inverse then, it's not one-to-one. But what we can do is we can restrict the domain so that it will be one-to-one. Okay, so to do that, you're going to look at your function, and if it's symmetric, which a lot of times they are, that's why it's not one-to-one, you're going to restrict it so that you only see half of it. Okay? So this function right now that we have is f of x equals x squared. Okay? But we're going to take out like this half. So then what we're going to say on the domain is that x has to be greater than or equal to 0. So in other words, only have x values on this side, and then you'll only get half of the curve, and it'll be one-to-one. And so then you can find the inverse, and life will be great. Okay, now you might be saying, well, why restrict it that way? Why not restrict it, to the other half? You can. So in that case, if we say, well, let's look at this half, then you would still have the same original function, but you would be restricting to say x is less than or equal to 0. Okay? So there's two ways to restrict it. Does it matter which way you do it? It kind of depends on the situation and what you're doing. In the next example, we'll show you both ways, but they do graph differently when you graph them and stuff. But both restrictions allow you to find the inverse, okay? And in the second case, you're just saying, okay, take this part out, and we'll only have x's this way, okay? So it's like you're kind of cutting it in half, and you say, well, we're only going to look at half of it. Now, you might remember when we did the trough problem, we did something like that, okay?